it in the zone. Share it with the world, make the vibe known. Subscribe to the beat, feel it in your phone. Catch the waves we throw, you ain't alone. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep the rhythm alive, we thrive. Hop on this digital ride. Let's multiply the vibe worldwide.
Media Records.
This is my story. Get the story.
On your ID, you see me calling, nigga. Out of his league, a workaholic, nigga. Nickname, big game, big thing. Handle his business, he never switched lanes. Had some brain surgeries in high school. Still came out that bitch a top dude. Moved to the city of the Mavericks. Came out this bitch dropping classics.
When a nigga had a brand new Cadillac and a whole bunch of hoes in it, he was smooth as ice. Smooth as ice. He was smooth as silk, baby. He was good. Yeah. I see him put it up, put it down. He gotta go down, he rise up. He moved from town to town, place to place, city to city. Nigga got around. Nigga got around. Oh yeah. I go to New York, I hear his name. Yeah. I go to Cleveland, I hear his name. Chicago, I put his name down. They know it.
Check. Shit with the babbling, nigga known for the traveling. Like I can't dribble, I'm hitting hoes with the javelin. Put it in the middle, I'm steady roaming like Vatican's. Celibacy, cannabis, pimping, I'm now establishing. Wolf out the pack, I'm catching styles straggling. Pussy dead stock, I'm ripping hoes out the packaging. Points that I'm averaging, think Kyrie is passing them the ball. Watch me ball on niggas, it's so spectacular. They ill advised. Stepping in no shit because I'm hella wise. Serving up this pimpin' like some curly fries. A Gus chicken gripping on some girly thighs. Fried like some pickles when I swing and glide. Having conversations, entertaining vibes. I peep her body language and she peeping mine. I ask if she hungry, she say what's her rhyme. I crack a smile and give her ass some curly fries. Said it's such a spectacular feeling. Real rap, no cap, I'll be macking these women. Shiesty down, condom on, I'm attacking that kid. Rent paid, stomach full, spectacular living. Ha, say my closet is hated by people. The fox fur got them hotter than plated fajitas. Parallel when I park and they paying the meter. My 2 cents that I give belong to museum.
When a nigga had a brand new Cadillac and a whole bunch of hoes in it, he was smooth as ice. Smooth as ice. He was smooth as silk, baby. He was good. Yeah. I see him put it up, put it down. He gotta go down, he rise up. He moved from town to town, place to place, city to city. Nigga got around. Nigga got around. I go to New York, I hear his name. Yeah. I go to Cleveland, I hear his name. Chicago, I put his name down. They know it.
They ill advised. Ain't stepping in no shit because I'm hella wise. Serving up this pimpin' like some curly fries. A Gus chicken gripping on some girly thighs. Fried like some pickles when I swing and glide. Having conversations, entertaining vibes. I peep her body language and she peeping mine. I ask if she hungry, she say what's her rhyme. I crack a smile and give her ass some curly fries.
Peace. What's up? Let me do a mic check, make sure everyone can hear me. I can hear myself. All right. Y'all can hear me. I can hear myself. I hope everyone is doing well. Big shout out to my gang over at Tri Media, my brothers, Brass, DQ, and Logic. Our friend I Am, our brothers over at Carnivorous Podcasts, Chef and Corey and everyone over there. I'm just going to share some information today. But first, we have to let you know what's going on. Right? Tonight, we have a debate. Make sure it's still on. They done changed it about 4 times. Let's see. Truth Hurts. Bronx birth hip hop. Not a DEI committee. I believe our brother Minnesota is going to come through with our brother Truth Savior. Peace to Truth Savior in Minnesota. They're going to come through and discuss hip hop. That's later on tonight at 7 p.m. So definitely check that out. Then tomorrow night at 7 p.m., we got Chief X and Truth Savior debate, right? About the 50-50 creation of hip-hop. So that's tonight. We got Minnesota coming through with Truth Savior. Truth Savior going to be busy. And then tomorrow night, he'll be live with Chief X. Shout out to Chief X, right? But other than that, today we're here to discuss. Make sure I got anything else. Hold on. I'm going to put links in the description area, in the show description for some of the websites that I'm going to look at today and some of the articles. So if you miss them in the show or you don't know how to find them, I'll put the links in the show description. All right. What else we got? So that's what's going on tonight, tomorrow on our YouTube channel, right? Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, please. Follow us on Facebook, right? I'm going to share our Facebook page. No rush today. I'm on the boards by myself. I have no producer in the back with me, so I'm hitting all the switches. So if you haven't yet, follow us on Facebook also. Here's our Facebook page. Right? Articles about tech, business, sports. You can find those on our Facebook page. So do go to our Facebook page and follow us. Tri-Media Innovations. Facebook. Our Instagram also. I want you guys to follow us on Instagram. I can show you better than I can tell you, right? So go on our Instagram page. Let's see. Why is this not opening? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm working by myself. Here's our Instagram page, so follow us on Instagram. If you'd be so kind, Try Media Innovations. We only got 22 followers. Come on, y'all. Y'all can help us out over there. Over there, we got articles on health, right? Fashion, gaming, different topics over there. So follow us on Instagram, please. And we follow back. So wherever you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we put in a good effort to follow back. And we appreciate it. Hi, Mika. Rush, what's up? So if you haven't yet, follow us on those platforms. So today we're going to talk about some new AI news, some safety measures that we all should be aware of, privacy concerns. I know when something new comes out, there's a lot of hype about it. And in the news, they like to be, the first ones with the story. So they'll tell you anything, right? Not anything where it would legally get them in trouble, but just buzzwords, trigger words, trying to hype people up about new products and things like that. So always be careful. You don't have to be the first to download something or use a new product. You can wait, let it get tested, let people kick the tires on it a little bit, people with more experience than us, right? Before we dive right into using new technology or products in general. And today I'm talking about DeepSeek and Quen, QWEN. I'll go to both of them websites in a little bit just so people can see what they're about. DeepSeek was really big in the media the last week or so. It's a Chinese language model, chatbot. You know, we don't need all the technical terms. It's similar to ChatGPT. Some of the pros of it allegedly were that they were able to create these models for a fraction of the cost. There are some articles about OpenAI saying how DeepSeek did it, that they stole some of their methods and means of creating these language models. I'll let that play out a little bit more in the news before we get into that. But I just want to show people some simple ways that when these new AIs come out, that people can do some simple research on them, where to find the information. You don't have to be a super nerd, right? Like some of us. This is not legal advice. I'm not going to give no legal advice or no financial advice. It's easy to give privacy and security advice. Be careful what you download. Be careful what information you input into any of these chatbots or any websites. Be careful what links you click on. Always. I appreciate that, Rush. Definitely, man. And we'll follow you back on Instagram and Facebook and any other platform that you guys and gals are on, right? But privacy and security, most people can give those type of that type of advice, right? Be careful what you download, be careful what you click on, be careful of the information you divulge when you're using these chatbots. And that's going to lead into some of the things I talk about in a little while. How we were using them. My last show, our sister I Am over at Own a Spot. She's on Instagram and YouTube. Definitely follow her. One word, Own a Spot, OWNASPOT. She asked a question about if you create something in the chat bots, is it yours as far as the copyright? I gave a blanketed answer, and that answer was mainly based on what we thought it was at the beginning. If you created a image, like the text to music really wasn't out. The text to video wasn't out then. The main thing that was out was text to image. I think that was one of the first iterations or modes. That's a mode. Text to video, text to image, text to, or video to text. Any of those things are called modes. So multimodal means different modes, right? So one of the first modes that became popular was people text to image, and they wanted to know if that image was theirs. Could they copyright it? So I gave a general answer, yes, but I didn't dig deep enough on the answer. I should explain that part a little bit more. And I'll go into that in a little while also. But that's what mainly sparked me to do this show, is to just go one level down from surface level answers or discussions about the chatbots or the language models, right? So if a new language model comes out, like DeepSeek, let's just go and see what it looks like first so I can show you what it looks like. And the link, again, will be in the show description. You have people, they're the news, they're telling you about this stuff. People are talking about it, but no one is showing you really what it looks like, right? So let's go into what it looks like. So this is DeepSeek. This is their chatbot. Looks similar to ChatGPT and all of the rest of them, right? Format's the same. Your prompt area is in the middle. To the left, I'm sure, is your prior conversations. I'm not going to go through and do examples. I just want people to see what it looks like. So when you click on their chat feature for DeepSeek, this is what you get. looks just like ChatGPT, so it shouldn't be that big of a learning curve, right? Let me make sure I see what you see. There we go. Deep think. Make sure. Let's see. Deep think in their prompting area right here. Let me get back to that. I'm sorry. And search. They have web search, and they're thinking that's just a model that I think in ChatGPT the equivalent would be O3. We'll look at that too. The different models in ChatGPT, but now all of the newer models, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, they're incorporating these deep think or added feature to your prompt. When you prompt something or you put your question or your query in there, now you have these internet buttons you can use. I hope y'all can see that on my screen. Let me zoom in a little bit, right? Or these deep think, or in ChatGPT, it's called reasoning. Uh, Basically, an extended computer function to answer your question. Takes a little longer to get you your answer to your query or your question. It just doesn't go through once. I believe it goes through a couple times, considers this answer a few times, and then gives you the result. So you'll see this incorporated more into all of the different chatbots. Search, which is your internet connection, and a deep think or reasoning option. So if there's a new chat bot out or new language model, we'll just use regular common terms that everybody knows. Chatbot. How do we check its performance? How do we check if it's safe? Well, you can check the news pretty much on any tech website for its safety. And again, what's the first rule? You don't have to be the first to download something. You don't have to be the first to use it, and definitely you don't be the first to put your information into these things, your personal private information, right? So now that we know what it looks like, let's go to a website where you can see how it actually performs, right? How it performs against other chatbots, right? I have OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. That's the one I pay for. I don't pay for Gemini. I don't pay for Claude. I think paying for one of them is enough. ChatGPT was at the forefront. I believe they're ahead of everybody. We'll look at their site later and just go over some of their updates and improvements. Let me check my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything. But how do we check the performance? Oh, DeepSeek is better than ChatGPT. It's better than Claude. It's better than blah, blah, blah. You can go to a website called Chatbot Arena. The link for that should be in the description also. And let me look at it with you guys. Basically, Chatbot Arena, I'm on the leaderboard tab. Up here, if you look at the top, you have Arena Battle, Arena Side by Side, Direct Chat, and Leaderboard. You can go through these different pages. Let me see if it changes when I change. Okay, it does. That's good. So when you first come into the website, you should be in maybe the battle area. We're not doing any battling. Basically, this area in Chatbot Arena, you can pit two chatbots against each other. We're not going to do that. We're not going to be here all day. We're just giving you a website where you can go test these things out. Side by side is similar. Here you go. You can put the different models. Let me make sure again you see what I see. Can you see what I see? Can you see? Well, you can't. So I don't think you guys see the drop down menu, which is fine. But you'll notice here on the left, you can choose which model you want to go against another model. And you can add your message or your question down there, and you can see which one you like best. So not only do you have to go by what other people found useful for a chatbot versus another chatbot, you can literally come in here, pick two of them using these drop downs. I don't think it's showing up on your side, But in this area, it says Gemini and Quen. So you can have 2 different bots answer your question, which would be down here, and pick the one you like best. Leaderboard. The leaderboard is ranked by what the users pretty much have gone through and tested. People like you and I. They go in there and they test best uses, right? Or not best uses, best answers for their particular questions or prompts. And I'm going back and forth on the screens on my end just so I can make sure I see what you guys see, or you see what I see. So they have different categories overall. And again, it's not going to show you did it show you the drop down? You know what? I can look at it right here on my phone. Hold on, y'all. Let me look. I'm bugging. Let me make sure. All right. Okay, so we do have our drop down menu, right? So in the overall section, no, my bad. Let me go back. Leaderboard. Oh, man, that was my fault. I went to the wrong one. Okay, here we go. We are good. And big shout out to everybody in the chat who stopped through now and who will stop through later. Our categories: overall, math, instruction following, creative writing, coding. So if you're in a particular area or you want the chatbot that's best for what you do, whether it's instruction following, creative writing, coding, things like that, you can pick that category. Like which one follows the instructions best, instruction following. And it will give you the rank. I don't know what the delta means. That's some mathematical term. We're not getting all that. The score, the votes, and who owns it, right? Gemini for, this is just an example, for instruction following, that category of instruction following, Gemini is the best. O1, that's ChatGPT. DeepSeek is down here. That's right up there with them. But Claude, that's another one. So any Grok, I believe that's Elon Musk's chatbot. So for any one of them, even the new ones, they have them in there. Quen, I think we're going to look at that later. QWEN. You might see that on YouTube or in different news outlets. Oh, the new one is out. Beats ChatGPT, beats Google Gemini, all of this shit, right? So this is a website you can come to check out how people use the models and which ones they consider work best for them. So this is a use case, not necessarily a shootout that companies or different organizations will have with the different chatbots. So again, you can side by side them, just pick 2 of them, put your prompt in there, see which answer you like best, and go from there, or which answer works best for you, or result works best for you. And those are across the top. Those are your different tabs across the top. Leaderboard. This tool provides an interactive way to explore how people are using Chatbot Arena. So most people are using Chatbot Arena for programming skills, technical concepts, creative writing, strategy and management, logic puzzles. So they're testing, I believe, for these topics more so. But all that information is on the website about us. So that's where you go to test out your chatbots, right? We looked at DeepSeek. I'll show you that again, just so we can see what it looks like. All right. That is DeepSeek. Looks similar to ChatGPT and all that. Now let's look at the Quen model, the Quen chatbot. That's another new one. I believe it's Chinese also, right? So we're going to put that one up. just so you can see what it looks like. All right, this is the Quinn chatbot, right? Looks just like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Google Gemini. They all look the same. They have the prompt area. I'm sure your prior conversations would be over here on the left. I don't have any because I haven't used it. The drop down, whenever you see the drop down arrow, ChatGPT is similar. It will show you the available models and or the ones that you can use. So Quinn has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 models, I think. And underneath the model is a brief description of probably what it's best for. And again, this should be similar across the chatbots. As they develop more models, and if they're free or in your paid version, they should be somewhere on your screen where you can switch models. Reasoning, long context, open model, capable of thinking and reasoning. Thinking. Smart large language model, powerful language model in the Quinn series. So again, similar. If one of them is working for you, like ChatGPT or Google Gemini or even Quinn, learn how to use it, practice using it. Again, you don't have to go for everything that's new. What up, Chef? Again, peace to our brothers over at Carnivorous Podcast. So this is Quinn. Now, with any new technology, what do we have to be concerned about? Privacy and security. So we're going to look at just some simple things that may have popped up with these new chatbots, right? I'm going to find a page. It's actually a tab, and we're just going to look at some things to look for before we try these new chatbots. There's also a method where you can download these language models to your computer and use them, you know, just on your computer, not necessarily connect back and forth to their browser. I think they take up a lot of, I don't think they take up a lot of space, I guess, depending on the size of the language model on your hard drive, but they may use up a lot of resources if you want them to respond fast and quick and query all, you know, go through all your data that you have stored. They may not work as fast as the browser without being taxing on your computer. So if you want to run it on your own system, you can go to a place like GitHub and download it and just run it on your system. But most of these, you use them in their browser connected to their servers. So that's where you may get some of the security issues at, right? Which we're going to look at. So let's see what you have, right? All right, the security I have down here at the bottom. I didn't mean to scroll so fast. My bad, y'all. So some of the security issues are concerned with something like DeepSeek or any other new model that comes from another country, right? That we consider a adversary, right? China is considered like an adversary. Whether y'all know it or not, we're in constant, like after the Cold War, our war now is a cyber war. It's constant. It's with all kind of countries, and it's using all type of measures and means that are not obvious to people. But we're definitely in a cyber war with our enemies or our proposed enemies like Russia, China, North Korea. That's ongoing. It's interesting if you're into it, but we're definitely at war. So some of the privacy concerns with something like DeepSeek. If that's too small, I apologize. Unauthorized data usage. DeepSeek has been accused of using data from OpenAI without permission. That was one of the things that was said, that's how they were able to train these models for cheaper, right? Is using data from OpenAI, which I guess in their terms of service, OpenAI would say you can't and I'm just generalizing, use their data to create, another chatbot. So that's something recent. We had a discussion, me and the brothers about DeepSeek, and like when it first came out and it tanked the market for a little while. People were like, "Why?" and what's going to happen now with Google and all these other companies? Well, the same thing that always happens. They would have to downplay, which I would have done. You downplay the other, the new technology, especially from another country, especially from an adversary that we are currently, in cyber war with, right? You downplay that. They were a little slow on that. And secondly, they're forced to release the models that they were going to wait to release. They're forced to release the technology that they were going to release in their own time frame and probably charge for it. So now they're forced to release it and for free. So things like this are beneficial to us sometimes. So when China is dropping free shit, the big boys that we deal with over here may be forced to drop some free shit too. So back to some of the safety concerns, right? Using proprietary data, basically that's what that's saying. Somebody else's information to create your chatbot. Data exposure. A cloud security firm discovered significant data exposure involving DeepSeek, where sensitive information was left accessible due to misconfigurations. That's something else we do on the cyber front is when there's new technology, they're not going to tell you this, but they attack it. They hack it. They attack it, bars, right? Like we don't let nothing just come across our borders or our airwaves that's not beneficial to us, for the most part. So that's something of interest, right? The information being accessible. That goes back to our, two steps that we consider, right? What we upload and information we share and what we download, because what you download or what you click on will get access to your personal and private information, right? So we already talked about that. We keep that in mind. Regulatory actions. Italy's Data Protection Authority has blocked DeepSeek's chatbot in the country. I believe our military is not allowed to use it here. So keep that in mind. DeepSeek's AI application has been found to explicitly send U.S. user data to China. Why not? It's a Chinese company. Raising concerns about data privacy and misuse. Of course, they're going to misuse it. Why would they do that? Because we're going to misuse it. It's war. It's what we do. Kick them while they down. If they ain't down, knock them down and kick them, right? What else? Vulnerabilities, security vulnerabilities. Security flaws in DeepSeek's R1 model, including I ain't even going to try it. Susceptibility to prompt injection attacks. So you would be able to attack their system just in the prompt area down here at the bottom. Like, that's crazy, right? Prompt injection. That's what that is. Malicious prompts can bypass safety measures and elicit harmful content. Susceptibility. That's that word, susceptibility. So these incidents underscore the importance of rigorous security measures, transparent data handling practices, and adherence to international data protection standards when developing and deploying AI models. So those are some of the security issues that could be prevalent in any new technology. So be careful being the first. You may be the first one to get effed up too, right? Dealing with some of this stuff with your data and your private information. So what else are we going to talk about? We looked at DeepSeek. We looked at Quinn. We showed how similar they were to ChatGPT. So I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and show, I guess they released a new model. Remember, when competition is heavy, the consumer should benefit. That would be us, right? So we want competition. We want fair competition, and we want safe competition, right? So that benefits us. So in ChatGPT, I'm on mine because Tri-Media ain't got no money to pay for the Tri-Media ain't got no money to pay for the upgrade version in ours because we broke over here. Nah, here we go. So for the different models, I believe they released O3 Mini. Again, let me make sure you can see what I can see. Yes, you can. So O3 Mini is that advanced reasoning. That's something DeepSeek was promoted for. It's fast, advanced reasoning. And you see O3 Mini here from ChatGPT, right? I think they just released this. I don't, or not too long ago. Now, what do they have? Fast, advanced reasoning. So DeepSeek forced them to put out their O3 model. I have the paid version, so if this is not available in the free version, I'm sure a lot of this stuff will be, if not already. Because remember, because they dropped Quen and DeepSeek, OpenAI and these guys are forced, and ChatGPT is, their company, are forced to give us these models for free. So I don't have to leave to go to DeepSeek or Quen if OpenAI is going to keep up and keep giving me better models right here for free or for my paid version. So I believe that's this new one here, O3 Mini. So check and see if you have that. O3 Mini High. Those are the advanced reasoning models similar to DeepSeek and something like Quen that is getting popular because of those deep reasoning, I guess, processes it uses. 4.0, that's what I normally use. And we have our toolbox still down here, Canvas, text to image, our web search. Now, when you use one of these advanced reasoning models down here, O1, O3, you don't have that advanced option in the prompt area because it's built in. So in DeepSeek, you would have to enable that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, if you're in the reasoning model, you have one less option down here because the model is already built to do the deep reasoning. So 4.0 is for general purposes. Any of the O1 or O3s are for deep reasoning. And you get more options in the 4.0, I believe. What else do we got? All right. Now, the conversation we had on my last show at the end was about copyright. If I create something in a chatbot, like an image, a song, things like that, is it mine? Do I hold the copyright? Do I own it? So they just came out with new laws or updated laws and regulations as far as copyrights go. And it was part 2. I have both parts loaded up in my ChatGPT. It may be 30, 40 pages. So any questions I have about the new updated copyrights are based on the part 1 and part 2 of the new copyright laws from the government copyright department. So basically, I uploaded them as PDFs, or I attached them right here, upload from my computer, so I don't have to read 30, 40 pages. You'll see them right here. Let me make sure you see what I see. You do. The attachments. When you attach something to your prompt area, down here through this attach files option at the bottom, they show up, and these are all PDF. The Copyright Office, Copyright and Intelligence Report. So there's 2 of them, and there's some articles based on it, and those should be linked in the description also. So let's read some of the questions I went over. And those questions are actually in Trimedia's ChatGPT, right? So let's go there and go over some of this stuff. All right. So the whole copyright issue, early on was based on like art because people were using the text to image. They were generating images. A lot of people who did that sold those images as NFTs, right? NFTs operate on like the blockchain. They're digital art pretty much. So that's the next step that came out of creating digital art. People went in, typed in something, they got the image. The group of people who went to the next step was to sell that image as an NFT that guaranteed some copyright and ownership because you turned it into, and actually we're going to read it. I'm just giving some context. So the actual images, and I'm going to show a clip from 2 videos where they discussed how people generated images, tried to get a copyright, they were approved, and then after inspection by the copyright office, they removed their copyright. So it was a fluid situation for copyrights for images, songs, written works, things of that nature. It's a fluid situation, and it has been fluid. So the laws are changing because it's a new technology. But we'll look at the example of NFTs, that digital art. After you create that image, you sell it as digital art. Those are 2 different things. Not downloading it on your computer and selling it, as an attachment or something, but actually turning it into a token on a blockchain. A whole process to turning that into a token, to digital art that you can sell and or trade. So NFTs. NFTs fit into the legal copyright framework in complex ways. So that should tell you right there that it's not straightforward. And this is based on the attachments, the copyright laws, part 1 and part 2. They just released part 2. Those links should be in the show description. So let's go back to my NFTs. They represent ownership of a digital asset, but do not inherently transfer copyright ownership. Here's how they interact with copyright laws based on general legal principles and insights. And we're going to find out by the end of the show that a lot of the stuff is going to be based off individual cases right now. So because someone gets a copyright for a digital image doesn't mean you will, because there's something else that has to be involved. And where did I write it down? Meaningful human involvement. Anybody that plans on making money through these chatbots in multimodal use, which is what? One mode to another. Text to video, video to text, text to image. Those are all modes. If you plan on making money in any of those areas, text to music, text to song, anything, you need to understand basics about copyright. We're not going to go over all that today. Ownership and format, right? NFTs are a certain format. They're digital asset. Let's go down just so we understand. It typically grants ownership of a unique token that links to a digital asset. I know that's mumbo jumbo. The copyright owner of the NFT retains the rights unless transferred through a written agreement. So this is just to fast forward a little bit. This is saying NFTs have copyrights, as where a AI generated image may not, just an image may not, because these things were added to that image. They were put on a blockchain. You have smart contracts. attached to it. Some NFTs include smart contracts and grant specific rights to the buyer. Verification of authenticity and versus copyright ownership. NFTs are marked as proof of authenticity and ownership of digital art. They verify ownership of the token. They do not serve as legal proof of copyright unless the contract states so. Basically, all of these steps are what differentiates an NFT from just something you create in a chatbot. I typed in create a dog on a bicycle, and I got a dog on a bicycle, and do I own the copyright? It depends. And we're going to look at some of the things that it depends on. We're going to look at like 2 clips in a video, and then to just give some understanding. By then, it will be clear as mud, just like many laws. They're not that clear. Even though it sounds like something that's, copyright, you make it, you own it, it's yours. Not so when you're getting help from AI and things like that. So, or what platforms you use to do business on may have certain constraints and regulations. So we're going to look at a video just so you can get some understanding of how confusing some of this stuff is and intricate. So let's go here, and we're going to make sure y'all can hear it. Turn my volume up over there. We're good. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. I'm going to make sure you can hear it, and then I'll hit play. Make sure I can hear it over here. My trusty headphones. All right. So we're going to play. And this is for educational purposes, right? This is for us to get some understanding about AI and copyright laws, right? So I may have to stop it on occasion just to give some commentary.
The legal landscape of generative AI is mostly uncharted. There are major controversies in 2 areas. Input, the human-created data that the AIs train on, and output, the text, images, and code that the AIs create. Here's Bloomberg Law IP report.
All right, input is your prompt, right? If you put in a prompt to have the AI create something, that makes you a part of it, correct? And I think that was the original concept when people were creating in the chatbots when they first came out a few years ago. I create the image, it's mine. That's your input. So when they talk about inputs and outputs, it's just another word for your prompt and the final result. Input, what you get is your output. And that's where some of the copyright issues pop up. Is my input enough to make the output my own? Or is it not enough because it was generated by AI to have the copyright of the final product or that output, right? So we're going to listen to I believe she's a
Reporter Riddhi Sethi.
When it comes to the input, artists are confused and worried that their art, images, and text or other things are being used without their permission. On the output side, people aren't really sure whether or not they can copyright or register the works that they've.
Now, this image that you see is important because we're going to look at another video where this was one of the images that was in that example I gave before, that the person was approved that this image that was generated in AI or a chatbot was given a copyright and then later rescinded. So keep this image in mind. And it's on 2 different videos, so that's telling me that it's an important case.
Created using AI.
The output side is a bit less mysterious because the Copyright Office has basically stated that copyright is limited to, humans. Back in 2014, they declared that this monkey selfie cannot be owned by the monkey. Sorry.
So, human, that thing that I spoke of before, that human interaction. The exact words are meaningful human involvement. That's where you get that muddy, that convoluted definition that when you end up in court, it's going to be case by case because they have to determine meaningful, not human. You're a human, you were involved, and your level of involvement. So those are some of the things that you keep in mind. Meaningful human involvement. Because a copyright can only be given to a human. That's why that's important.
Little buddy, no royalties for you. And more recently, cannot be owned by the monkey. Sorry, little.
So even though it was a picture of a monkey, I don't know why anyone would think the monkey would own the copyright. That was brought up. So
buddy, no royalties for you. And more recently, Chris Castagnova.
Because he wasn't human, right? The monkey wasn't human, so obviously he couldn't own the copyright.
Nova was unable to copyright the images in their comic book because they were AI generated. But this is still a bit murky because the office also stated that an output could be copyrighted if there is sufficient human authorship, whatever that means.
So that's another word that they used. Sufficient human authorship. I guess by her editing the image enough or through enough times. Anyone who knows about Midjourney, which is a Discord, was used in Discord, their server, to generate a lot of images early on. You could get different variations of the same image, not just a completely new image every time. You can get a different variation. So this is a case, I believe, even though the image was generated by AI through her prompt, she did enough variations to the image that it passed the copyright. So again, I think it's going to be a case-by-case basis once people get to court.
Human authorship, whatever that means. They also a bit murky because the office also stated that an output could be copyrighted if there is sufficient human authorship, whatever that means. They also said the prompts might be copyrightable, and yes, you can currently buy AI text prompts. But these controversies are relatively minor compared to the battlefield that is the input side of image generation.
What is input again? See what we learned? Input is your prompt, your question, your query. Input, output, which is basically the general framework of how language models work. So if you remember that, your input, and I know it sounds simple, what you put in, that model literally looked at every word that you put in to give you an output, right? It goes through all that fancy shit behind the scenes, but basically that's what it was about. Taking your input, looking at that input, and giving you the best answer it could come up with based on your input. And how it did it was word for word without going any further, but that's just to simplify it a bit. So when you hear these words like input, output, that's how their systems, and that's the language they use a lot of times when they were training these systems, not prompt, final result, whatever. So keep that in mind.
Basically, AIs ate the internet, analyzed it, and can now spit out an infinite array of new works that are some kind of transformed synthesis of human-created work. This process could possibly be illegal. To settle this grudge match, let's square off two heavyweights. I mean that figuratively. In this corner, Mark Lemley.
Now, I don't want to get a copyright strike, but you understand the gist of it, where something may be copyrightable and then changed at a later date. That's one thing. Or two, what would work for someone else may not work for you because of those terms like human, a meaningful human involvement, or sufficient human, whatever that other word was, right? Sufficient human.
Could be copyrighted if there is sufficient human author.
So these things may not work for everybody in the same way. So another video, and then we'll go to commercial real quick. I can't see the comments, so again, anybody who's here, please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and write any questions you have in the comments. So we'll show another video real quick, which is basically the same point, and how some of this stuff is just muddy, and how the copyright office doesn't always handle these things the same way, and that it's new. You know, these are brand new issues. So it's good. There's that monkey again. So the homeboy was famous and he still didn't get his copyright. Get that monkey some bananas or some money or something. Y'all need to break him off something. That ain't right. He all over the place. Okay, case law indicates that human authorship is required for copyright. Those are the old, right? The old rules, the old laws, the old regulations, the old guidance, things like that. Human traditional elements of authorship requirement. Traditional is the meaning of that is going to change now, right? With AI and all this artificial intelligence and language models and things like that. All of that stuff is going to have different meanings. Traditional elements, because at some point, using these AI chatbots is going to be a traditional form of doing a lot of things. So that's going to change. Application process, case by case, super important, right? Case by case.
Anything super helpful. So to turn and sort of look at some of the practical examples and try to find the contours of what are they interpreting their own words to mean. This is one of the first works that was submitted to the Copyright Office. This as an AI generated work. This is a recent entrance to paradise.
So here you have, this one says it was created autonomously by Creativity Machine. I don't know what that app is or whatever that is. But I'm assuming autonomously mean he told it to create something. Maybe he didn't prompt it as much, but autonomously would give me the idea that he just gave a basic instruction, maybe not all the detail that we would give to get an image like this. But either way, we'll play.
It was allegedly created autonomously by an AI called Creativity Machine, which is owned by a human person, Richard Thaler. So he submitted this to the Copyright Office and told the Copyright Office, okay, my AI created this all on its own. And it can't hold copyright. I get that part because that's a machine and machines can't own property, but I should get the copyrights because I own the machine.
So the machine created it. He owns the machine, so he should own the copyright. And I'm pretty sure this is going to end with, first of all, the machine can't have a copyright, so there's nothing to own.
Copyright Office said,
but we'll see.
No, there's no copyright at all to be owned by anybody because this was not created by a human. This was created by a machine. And you have to have human creativity, not machine creativity. So the Copyright Office is not the final arbiter of law, so you can actually take those refusals and go into.
So she said the Copyright Office is not the final arbiter of law. So I guess you can go to court
And ask a judge, hey, judge, do you agree with the Copyright Office?
Another level of interpretation, right? Of what you did, what the computer did. So if the laws and the regulations are muddy and case by case, now you're going to end up in court. Not necessarily, but if you want to, you could end up in court and that be a whole nother iteration of what they believe or the judge determines. So it's just another level of mud to some of these laws.
Yes, or do you agree with me? So he went to court for it. Then part of the graphic.
Here's that image again. This is the main one I wanted people to hear. So we'll see.
And I don't know if anybody's familiar with this story. So this was a graphic novel, a post-apocalyptic kind of zombie sort of thing, created by Christina Casanova. And so what she did, she used Midjourney to create these images. And then she wrote the text and the storyline all on her own, but she used Midjourney to make the visual part of the graphic.
Midjourney, that was that app I was talking about before. I think I said Midjourney. And they were heavy. They didn't have a website. They had a Discord server, and that's where people generated a lot of images at early on. So this is probably a early case once the copyright issues and all that started popping up with this AI generated art. So we'll hear that.
Artistic labor created by Christina Casanova. And so what she did, she used Midjourney to create these images. And then she wrote the text and the storyline all on her own, but she used Midjourney to make the visual part of the graphic novel. She did a little bit of tweaking after the fact on a few of the images, and she submitted it to the Copyright Office and said, I, Christina Casanova, created this, and she got a registration for it.
So she tweaked the image. She put in her prompt. She got an image. If the image on the left was the original image, obviously. Not obviously, but it's on the left is the before and after. So obviously that's the before. It says it right there, actually. Detail before Photoshop. Detail after Photoshop. So she edited some slight changes to this image in Photoshop. That's not necessarily Midjourney, what I was talking about before, right? In Midjourney, you could take the image on the left and have it create variations. So that's technically still would be in Midjourney. On the right, you could take that image, put it in another software program or image editor and make some adjustments. That's what she did, and she got approved. She got a copyright for it. And let's see what happened.
Then she went on social media and she bragged that she got.
There you go. She got a copyright. She went on social media and told the world. Since the feds is always watching, they got wind of it, and they looked at her copyright application again, I believe. So even though she had a copyright, you know, she probably was one of the first people. Again, being that first person to do something or use something, and then she yelled about it, went on social media, and let's see what they did.
The first registration for an AI on social media, and she bragged that she got the first registration for an AI generated work. It went viral. The Copyright Office apparently found it on Twitter, and
so viral ain't always good, right? I think we know that now in this day and age. So again, this was self-inflicted, but can you blame her? She got a copyright. She was the first. You know, it should have been a good thing, but ultimately it was scrutinized by the copyright department.
Or, you know, X now, but it was then Twitter. They said, wait a minute, we're going to take that back. We're going to take another look at this, and reopened the case. And after some letter writing, some back and forth and inquiry of, okay, what did you actually do? What were your prompts? So
what did she do? That brings us back. And this is not for anyone literally to sit home and rack their brain, right? If you generate an image, most of us do it, and we're not concerned with the copyright because we're not selling it. We may use it in our businesses, but we're not really running to the government to get an actual copyright. Just think of all the things we generated on YouTube for the banners and the backgrounds and all that shit, right? No one's running to the copyright office to get a copyright on all this. So this stuff doesn't, affect everyone, but it's something to know. My daughter is a person that's heavy into the NFTs. So as an NFT artist and a person that curates NFT art, this end of the spectrum was really important. The copyrights, the legal frameworks, the finance behind it, all of those topics. But for most of us, but this is just a little, a level down from IAM's question last week about if you create something in AI, is it yours? So there is no single answer for that, right? If the AI creates something, technically it cannot hold a copyright because it's not a human. So that's a pretty easy one. But if you're involved, what level of involvement, case by case, it's still going to be up in the air.
And then also learning how Midjourney works, which is pretty interesting for the Copyright Office to have to go.
So the copyright office asked her, what did she write? What was her input? They didn't know how Midjourney worked. So they had to go to the Discord, I'm sure, Midjourney's Discord, and understand all of that.
Going to take a class on how Midjourney works. They said, okay, those images, you might have used some prompts, but the images that were generated, the machine interpreted what those words meant in the text to image process. So it sort of
Text to image. What is that? That's a mode, right? Keep that in mind. It's always a mode. Multimodal. Text to video, text to music. Y'all got it now. And it ain't just text to blah, blah, blah. It could be video to text, but it's just a different mode. So the copyright office pretty much, after watching her brag, just think about it. The copyright office saw her bragging and said, hold on, what is she bragging about? Shit, she's bragging about the copyright that y'all gave her. Assholes. Like, Jesus. You know, you gave her a copyright, then you went back to see how she created something you gave her a copyright on. That's insane. But at the same time, that tells us how new this technology is, right? So we'll do a quick commercial, then we'll come back and see what happened to our young lady here. I'll be right back, all right?
Pick your skill set, cause you know I got a lot of. It's all mad God if you talk about your body. Money making Mitch, nah, money make a lot of problems, but a little more probably solve it. So cut up all the talking. Left at home, young Macaulay Culkin. Creating liquor boy, shit exhausted. Mean I'm making bars, nigga, off. Rhymes tailor made like the suits for your troops in a coffin. Floating on the air, I'm feeling the wind chill. Flow about as cold as the snow in your windshield. Get it by the lows, you blowing like pinwheels. Coming from the soul and did it like 10 years. Plus, niggas get mad when we switch gears. Clutch, steady get popped, now bitch chill. Hush, steady don't know how a pimp feel. Have to get a meal, even if it kills me. Filthy, silky Johnson, how they hating on him. Niggas talking shit, but I'm not responding. Oxford dictionary words can't define him. Tupac miss where I came inside him. Top 5 pin when I'm locked in. Being locked out is never an option. I'm a pops now, utilizing the clock spin. It's a different hustle for this struggle. It's a different hustle for this struggle. It's a different hustle for this struggle. It's a different hustle for this struggle.
All right, we are back. Shout out to my brother DQ. We got new music coming out. We got an EP coming out. We have a YouTube channel for our music, Tri-Media Records. Look for that. We have a Patreon that's coming up. We have a Discord. We want people to join. And look at me, I don't even have the Discord link. What a loser. I ought to be fired. But let's get back and find out what happened to our person who actually had a copyright and then had it removed. What happened with her, right? Let's see.
Going to take that back. We're going to take another look at this and reopen to the case. And after some letter writing, some back and forth and inquiry of, okay, what did you actually do? What were your prompts? And then also learning how Midjourney works, which is pretty interesting for the copyright office to have to go into take a class on how Midjourney works. They said, okay, those images, you might have used some prompts, but the images that were generated, the machine interpreted what those words meant in the text to image process. So it sort of randomly generated these images from your prompts that you then picked
again,
from.
They pretty much
so we're going to get
had to go back and find out why the hell what they gave her a copyright for. which to me is insane, right? It's absolutely insane. Let me go over here and get our Discord link. Join our Discord, please. I'm going to put that in the comments. It's a lot of fun in the Discord, but you need a thick skin, right? It's a lot, a lot of fun, a lot of good information. We got something coming up called Discord Wars, unfiltered, uncut, raw Discord conversations, right? That's going to be probably in our Patreon because a lot of that shit you can't have on YouTube. So when you see the Patreon information come out, subscribe to our Patreon and definitely join our Discord. The link is in the chat. Join our Discord. And let's get back, find out what happened to this young lady.
Give you the copyright back, but only for the text, only the thing you, the human author, actually wrote. Now, those images, yes, okay, maybe you did a little bit of tweaking. You changed a little bit of the lip line. You maybe changed a little bit of the hairline and the shadowing. Those are de minimis. Those are not enough modicum of creativity to meet the threshold of human creativity. Now, I'm not sure if the Copyright Office was sitting in as an art critic here, so she could take that to court and say.
So pretty much, I believe they gave her a copyright for her prompt, what she wrote. Originally, they gave her a copyright for the image. So they went back, they learned how the image was generated, and they ended up giving her just copyright for her prompt. And like the lady said, she could go back to court, but, you know, you taking the government to court is probably not cheap. But that's another process that you could learn about, a copyright application. How you word the application, super important. I don't think it was just that she went online and bragged about it. It maybe was too much information in her copyright application, right? Maybe she put in there, oh, I generated it on the computer, blah, blah, blah. And I think she even had that in there. I think the lady said she put that in maybe the copyright report. Some would say, oh, you can't leave it out. You can creatively word things, and this is not legal advice. This is definitely not legal advice. That somebody else may have the same application, same style of filling out that application, they get it approved and you don't. It may be some words that are different. So that's another process you would have to go through, the copyright application. Most of us don't do that. We generate an image, we go on about our damn business. If you're going to go into the NFT side of thing, which is selling this generated art, right, then that's another animal. That's where you get into things like copyright, blockchain, cryptocurrency. That's another show. So with that being said, let's go back and look at some of our notes just to make sure we didn't miss anything and discuss just some things in general, right? All right, let's go up to the top. I hope I'm not super scrolling on y'all eyeballs like that. My wife always be like, it's scrolling too fast. Making my head hurt. All right, let's see. Okay, 5 questions about artistic creation and ownership in the age of AI. What constitutes human authorship in AI-generated art and music? Remember, that mode, text to song, text to video. In the video could have had people singing in it, right? That whole Drake thing where they had the fake AI Drake and all of that coming out. That was mainly all new stuff. Those were new technology used to create something new. So the cases in court would be probably new, but something like music is maybe a little easier, like name, image, and likeness. You can find that like a little easier in the song style, the tenor and tone of the voice, the music in the background. It may be a little easier to attribute that to a person like they did with Drake, as opposed to you designing some artwork. So the music thing, that came later. right? That wasn't right off the rip. People were making text to song, right? That came later. So the music part, those are going to be new discussions, right? What constitutes human authorship in AI generated art and music? The copyright report, part 2, I believe that's attached in the description, emphasizes that AI generated works must have substantial human creative input to be eligible for copyright protection. There's that human part again. How involved were you in it? So to sell these things or get a copyright, this information is important for you. If you're generating these songs for bullshit, I would just stay away from likenesses of popular people or known people. Like I wouldn't make a song like they did with Drake. Obviously, at some point, that may be an issue. But if you're just generating bullshit and you ain't looking for a copyright, again, you may not need to know all of this. But if you want to create a song, sell it, promote it, copyright it, you need to know some of this stuff. But the copyright report, I think there's going to be 3 total. There's only 2 out right now from the Copyright Department of the government. So must have substantial human creative input. There is no like simple explanation for that. That can be a myriad of different things. So we ain't going to worry about that. I can't see the chat, by the way. So if y'all are there, again, our Discord link is in the chat. Let's go back to what we were reading. Should AI generated works have copyrighted protection? The Copyright Office, and I asked these questions based on the copyright report. I didn't want a whole lot of ChatGPT making up shit or giving me conversation. Nope. I attached the reports, use the reports to answer these questions. So that's something else. You don't have to go through 100 pages of something. You can put it in one of these chat bots, have it summarized, bullet point, frequently asked questions, blah, 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 and have it deal just with the uploaded text that you put into it, which in this case was the 2 copyright reports. All right, the Copyright Office concluded that purely AI-generated works without human creative control should not receive copyright protection. So if it's purely AI, that's simple, no. There's some questions, we're not going to read them. How do digital replicas affect artistic integrity and ownership? The report highlights concern over AI-generated likenesses, included voice, appearance cloning, voice and appearance cloning, which could lead to economic and reputational harm. We said that about the music, which is probably easier. If you're generating something that looks like somebody, sounds like somebody, it's going to be easier, obviously, for them to have a problem or issue with that. Right? So stay away from the likeness and all that, right? Name, image, likeness. NIL, something like that, what it stands for. Stay away from that. What are the ethical and economic implications of AI training on copyrighted works? That was, I think, what I was answering I am last week, and she didn't even ask me that, so I don't know where the hell I was at with that. But AI models being trained on vast amounts of copyrighted content without consent, right? That was the original questions. Where are y'all getting this data from? OpenAI, ChatGPT, said they were getting it from internet. Whatever was freely available on the web, libraries, any free information. That's what they said they trained their models on. Because something's on the internet doesn't mean it's not copywritten. So, that's the other side of that, right? Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it doesn't have a copyright. So even though they trained it on that data, I don't know about the permission. I guess they're still in court for that. They probably are. How can copyright law adapt to rapid AI advancements? Copyright law has historically evolved with technology, photography, digital media, etc. But because AI grew so fast, it presents unprecedented challenges. We just had a change in administrations. Who knows which way that's going to go, right? Just because you see all these tech guys sitting next to Trump doesn't mean that's beneficial for us, right? Doesn't mean that these things are going to go in a right way, you know, or beneficial way, or even a legal way. Well, not legal by their standards, but you don't want to end up in court for some shit that they did, right? So be careful. But because AI grew so fast, we're in kind of uncharted territory, right? They're trying to apply the old laws and regulations as best they can for something that's obvious, like we said, purely AI generated. There's no humans involved, so it cannot get a copyright. When you involve a human, how much interactiveness does the human have? That's for courts to decide. On the other side of it, if I create something, do I have to worry about somebody else coming and say, hey, I have a copyright on that? I didn't ask it that. You know, I don't think that's an issue because the model is creating something with your input. It shouldn't be recreating what somebody else did. So again, I think those are issues that they're going to have to hammer out in court. We went over NFTs. Again, that's the next step for your art if you want to sell it and put it on the blockchain or something like that, your digital art. What else did we have? That's NFTs. All right, the music part of it, right? The text to song, which is another what we learned. Mode, multimodal, text to music. You could take a video and say, hey, make me a video like this. That would be video to video. They have different chatbots that do that, right? So we'll go back. I pretty much asked the chatbot to just, you know, when the AI first came out, how did it deal with the music when it had the text to music or whatever? So early 2020, well, 2020 to 2022, you had simple melodies generated that imitated existing styles. Right? That was its simplest form. It could imitate similar styles of music rather than the person, I think. Maybe the music was first. You didn't get the lyrics. That came later. Remember, text to music, I think, was first. Then with the lyrics over top of it, that came later, where it actually made the whole song. I had a hip-hop one that had scratches in it. I don't know how the hell it did that. You know, it did the rap. Actually, it's our like, share, subscribe video. It's going to play at the end. But it made the beat. It made the vocals. It wrote the rap. And it did the scratches, which is insane to me. Product enhancement. No, production enhancements. This is the AI early on. Beat making, sound enhancement, streamlining music productions using AI. Legal considerations. Discussions around AI-generated music were early on. The limited legal frameworks addressing the complexities of authorship and ownership. Like it was limited to how they could run this up in court or decide who owns something or gets that copyright that we were talking about. I was great to do this again. Let's see. 2425. Autonomous music creation. Sophisticated voice replication. That's where we're at now in like 2 years. The legal aspect. Prominent artists such as Paul McCartney and Elton John have voiced concern over proposed changes to copyright laws that may allow AI developers to use creators' content without explicit permission. Industry adaptation. That's all of the newer relevant uses for AI. In just 2 years, we went from it creating a simple melody to actually replicating people like down to the note and having to create new laws and regulations for that. The music industry is exploring new licensing models. Yeah, I bet they are, because they need to get their hand and all that money. You know, they don't want you artists out here living too good or too independent. aiming to balance technological innovation with fair compensation for human creators. And your favorite artists, they probably don't want you home generating songs that are, you know, similar to them because you wouldn't need them. If you could have Glorilla perform a song on anything that you wanted her to perform, how you wanted her to perform, and whatever aspects of her video, if you can do all of that in the prompt, you don't need Glorilla unless you're going to go to a show, right? But at home, you can have a whole Glorilla category, library, music library. I think that's it as far as the notes over here. Any questions that people have going forward, you can leave them in the chat, right? So today we just went over DeepSeek and Quinn, two new chatbots. We went over some of the safety concerns that we should always be aware of when there's something new and it's from another country, Even though we deal with a lot of stuff from China, it's brand new. And, when they launched it, it was obviously a middle finger to Trump, Elon, Zuckerberg, and Bezos to let them know, yeah, y'all don't run every damn thing. So, but any new technology, we all want to be careful of, right? We don't have to be first. Let's let somebody else go out there and test them waters. We looked at Chatbot Arena. The link is in the description where you can use different chatbots and have them go head to head, right? In competition with each other. Share that one more time. It's called Chatbot Arena. And is that our leaderboard? Make sure we got a leaderboard up. And you can see how they perform for people, right? The different ratings for the different categories, remember? Instruction, following math, overall, creative writing, coding, hard prompts. That may be, one you're interested in if you're doing a lot of research or some high-level shit and your prompts are super intricate. You can find ones that performs better or best for the difficult prompts you may have. But that's called Chatbot Arena. And you can see how these models are rated against each other. So just because the news says one is better or one creator says theirs is better, you can do more research with a simple website like this. What else did we talk about? The copyright and artificial intelligence reports released by the government recently. They're in the description. And I think that's it. NFTs, we talked a little bit about NFTs, how that's that second step of creating digital art if you want to actually move into to selling that or owning it, having a copyright on it. And that's all I have for today. Tonight, let's go back to our YouTube page so y'all can see what's going on tonight. We got a special guest, Minnesota. Hold on, y'all. I'm finding my page. Where's my page at? There we go. Tonight, we have a show featuring Minnesota, 7 p.m. Him and our brother, Truth Savior, are going to discuss hip-hop, birthed in the Bronx, not a DEI committee. So that should be good. Tune in for that, 7 p.m. Tomorrow night, we got Chief X and Truth Savior debate. This is the second part of their impromptu debate last time or discussion about the Latinos creating hip-hop 50-50. So we're going to have Chief X and Truth Savior tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Check out our old shows, Logic and I Am, Brass and DQ, our old tech shows. A lot of good information there. And that is all that I have. So I appreciate everybody for coming through. Our Discord link is in the chat. I'm going to play a Discord commercial. But I want you to join our Discord. Keep an eye out for our up-and-coming Patreon and our other YouTube page, Tri-Media Records. Shout out to my bros, all my super mods, Mika, Rush. The second best mod in the world, Donnie, because I am the first. My brother Brass. What up, Chef? Our brother Chef. And we will see you guys and gals later on tonight. All right? So be careful out there. Hope it was interesting. Hope you learned something. Any questions, you can put them in the chat. Follow us on Discord.
Gotta hit it like tap it in the zone. Share it with the world, make the vibe known. Subscribe to the beat, feel it in your phone. Catch the waves we throw, you ain't alone. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep the rhythm alive, we thrive. Hop on this digital ride. Let's multiply the vibe worldwide.